Alright, here is a quick screencast that's just a review of our first unit in web design, and I just want to go over the basic HTML tags and the basic HTML structure that we've been learning. I'm in just an online playground for HTML called liveweave.com, and I've gone ahead and typed in the basic codes, and I'm in here because it color codes it so it's a little easier to see the tags. You'll see here we start with the document declaration tag, which is the doc type HTML tag. And then we've got our tag pairs, HTML, and down here's its closing tag. This will always be the last tag. Head, and the head is actually up here, so it closes before we go on to the body section. So the only thing that stays up in the head, as you'll recall, is the title. The title is what shows in the little tab at the top of the screen, and in this case you can't see the title of this web page. It would be HTML5 demo. Now I'm going to pull up my file that I've already saved as practice1.html, and I created it in Notepad, but you can't double click it or it'll open it in Chrome, and as you'll see when I click on it here, it's just an empty file. There's nothing in here. It doesn't even have a name in the tab. So I'm going to go back here and open it with Notepad. To do that, once you've saved something as an HTML document, you just simply right click it and then open with, and if Notepad is not on your list, you'll just go down to choose the program and look for more, and eventually Notepad will be one of your choices on there, and once you've done it, it'll work fine. Alright, so here I go. You start off with the document declaration, which is going to be doc type with an exclamation mark in front of it, space, HTML. And that's kind of almost on its own. And when we created our little flipbook of HTML man, that's in the very first flap. And then we have the HTML tag. So that's the first flap of our little HTML man. And you can use him and he'll help you to keep this all straight. Our second little tab of the little HTML man is the head section. And the only thing in the head section is going to be the title. Oops. All kinds of crazy letters there. Title. And these are the words that would show up in the blue bar. I'll just look up here. And you turn it off. Now again, you have to switch off things. So right now we've got the first flap and the second flap, which is our head. The third flap on our little HTML man begins with a structure tag, that's the body. And everything you see on the actual screen of the website is going to go in the body. Now I'll come back to do the stuff in the body here in a second. And then we have the end of the body. We turn it off. The very last tag of the website will be switching off the HTML. So this is your basic structure. It's the document declaration tag and then 4 tag pairs. HTML, head, title, and body. And so this is the basic structure that really has to be memorized in our first unit. Then within the body are the things that we see. Now I'm just going to go ahead and save. And when you save in Notepad, it automatically saves text files, so you're going to have to put .html on the end of your document. And then hit save, and I've already saved it once, so it's going to replace. Now I'm going to come back to Chrome and hit refresh, and now we should see right here in the tab the name of the title on this document. But still there's nothing in the big white space because this would be the body of the document, and we have nothing in there. So we've learned very few tags so far. We've learned headings, of which there are 6, and H1 is the biggest heading. So I'm going to put here is a big heading, and then you switch it off, and then you break it up into the paragraphs that are in your document. And so pretty much everything's either going to be, at this point in the game, a paragraph or a heading, not both, and nothing other than that. For instance, if I had a paragraph that's just my name, it still has to be in paragraph tags, even though it's not, like in English terms, a paragraph. Even if my name was in italics, which we should know now is the EM or emphasis tags, that's not enough. It's still a paragraph. So outside of those tags, we still need our paragraph tags, like so. So it's either a heading or it's a paragraph. We've also learned what we call empty tags, one of those being the HR tag, which is a horizontal rule. That's just a line that goes across the page. Let's go ahead and preview this at this point. So I'll refresh. So here's our heading, and that's a heading level 1, the big heading. Notice the heading is bold, and this heading is big, but not all headings are. Heading 6 is actually smaller than regular words. This here is our horizontal rule, the line that goes across the page, the HR. And then down here is that final paragraph with my name in italics. So let's go ahead and add one more tag that we've learned so far, which is a line break. A line break is used within a paragraph. So you've got to have a paragraph or a heading. You've got to have one of those two already. And then within it, you can add a line break. So I'm going to put the cat in the hat. Let's say I want the word hat to be bold. Remember, our bold tag is strong. And then I'll put comes back. And then let's say I want to go to another line. This is going to be just an enter, which is a BR, or a line break. He is a nice cat. And then say I want another enter or another line break, and I'll put meow. And then that'll be the end of the paragraph. Let's see what that looks like so you can see the difference between just a normal paragraph and a line break. So I'll go back here to Chrome and refresh. Alright, so a normal paragraph is a line, and then you switch off the paragraph and you get a gap right here, a big gap. When you use a BR, which is what I've done here and here, there is no gap between these two lines. So it says the cat in the hat comes back, but there's no gap after it like there is after my name. And that's because a break is there. Instead of turning off the paragraph, this whole thing is actually one paragraph. And you know that because there's no gap between it. When we have a heading and we turn it off, there's a gap. When we have a horizontal rule, there's a gap. When we have a paragraph, there's a gap. But after a line break, there is no gap. So that's how you know this is one intact paragraph. So essentially, this is what we've covered so far in the first unit. Our basic HTML structure, understanding kind of the 4 divisions of the page, the document type with the HTML, the head section, the body section, and then turning off the body in HTML. We've talked about the block elements, H1 or paragraph, which everything kind of has to be in right now. And then we've talked about those 2 other tags, our empty tags that don't have closing tags. They have kind of a different form there. So it's the tag name, space, and then the slash instead of an opening and a closing. And we call those empty tags. So I hope that helps with a review of these. It's just a matter of memorizing and practicing. There you have it. Good luck.